Update. Am I the a-hole for buying vanilla shampoo? Original post. My girlfriend uses a few different types of shampoo and alternates between them. One of them, a vanilla-scented one, is my favorite. She asked me to pick up some things for her at the store, and on my way to check out, I saw the vanilla shampoo and grabbed that too. When I got back to her apartment, she started putting away the things I bought. She was confused by the shampoo and asked me why I got it. I said that I saw it, knew she uses that kind, and grabbed it for her. She said she wasn't running low on shampoo. I said I know, but it doesn't expire, and that one is my favorite. I teasingly said that she should use it if she's planning to wash her hair tonight. She asked what I meant by it being my favorite. I said I liked the way it makes her hair smell, like cookies. She looked a little weirded out. I asked her if she was okay. She said it was weird that I sexualized her shampoo. I said smelling nice is sexy. I asked if she thinks I'm sexier when I use nice-smelling soaps and deodorants. She said not really, as long as I don't actively smell bad. I said maybe it's different for everyone. She said honestly, it bothered her that something as mundane as shampoo was sexual to me. She asked me if someone else smelled like vanilla, would I be attracted to them? I said no, that she was misunderstanding me. She asked me to clarify, but I don't think I did a good job. I said I specifically liked the smell on her, not on other people. She still seemed put out, so I headed home to give her space. Was I an a-hole for buying the shampoo and telling her I like it when she uses it? To me, that's not weird, but maybe that's because I'm a guy. Is there a layer to this I'm not seeing? Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Not the a-hole. What on earth? You did something nice. She should have said thank you. My husband comments if he likes my perfume. She presumably buys the vanilla-scented shampoo because she also likes the smell. Making it out like you're some weird freak for also liking the smell is wild. It's like she was looking for something to fight about. Yeah, I don't get it. Liking certain smells is normal, right? Isn't that the point of scented things? And perfume? It's not a creepy thing to like. I had a partner who specifically loved when I used green tea-scented products. Knowing that was a boost for me, and even though we're not together now, I still feel a boost with that scent. I would have thought it was sexy and cute. You're not the a-hole at all. The most romantic thing my husband did for me was buy me a personal pizza with olives on it, because I told him I liked it, but hadn't ordered one in years since I usually just eat what everyone else likes, and they don't like olives. We were talking about something else and I casually mentioned it as an aside. 3 weeks later, I came home and it was sitting on our kitchen island with a heart drawn on the box. It wasn't the pizza. It was confirmation that he was listening to me and not just paying attention to his phone. Being attentive is important. I thought I was being sexy and cute too. She's my first real relationship, so I acknowledge that I'm inexperienced here, but I thought it was a very innocent way to flirt. It's not like I bought her underwear. She needs to take a deep breath and relax. As a woman myself, if my boyfriend bought me shampoo he knows I use, and he likes the smell of it, I'd be so flattered and touched, especially if he said the smell is sexy on me. She sounds insecure. Thank you. This makes me feel better. I was doubting myself, thinking maybe it's inappropriate. I would love my husband to notice what shampoo I use and make sure I have enough. I want to smell nice for him, and him caring for me is sexy as hell. Now for the first update. So yesterday, my girlfriend didn't like that I took it upon myself to buy her vanilla shampoo when I was picking up some things for her at the store. We met up at her apartment again this morning for breakfast, and I asked if we could talk about our boundaries and expectations, because I never want to make her feel uncomfortable. She agreed that we should talk. She said that when she visited her family over winter break, she had time to think about our relationship and talk to her parents and sister about me. She said that the space and perspective made her realize some things. The first thing she realized is that she isn't happy that we always meet at her apartment. I said I completely understood, and that she was welcome to come hang out at mine. When we first started dating, she didn't want to visit my apartment often because of my 4 roommates. But things change, and I get that. However, she still doesn't want to hang out at my apartment because of my 4 roommates. She said that my living situation is too crowded and that it bothers her. I asked if she wanted me to move, and she said she would like it if I made a commitment to finding a new living situation by next semester. Since the next semester is a long way off, this isn't unreasonable, but I was hesitant. I really like my living situation. My friends and I help each other out a lot. I don't necessarily want to live alone, and it's expensive. She can afford to live alone, but I don't necessarily think I could. I explained that I didn't think I could afford it. She suggested I ask my parents for money, which isn't an option. She also pointed out that I have a part-time job, but that doesn't make me enough money to pay for my own apartment. I asked if me spending too much time at her apartment was the only issue, because I felt like there was more to the shampoo thing. She said yes, that she didn't like that. She said she didn't like the idea that I'm constantly thinking about having sex with her, and that it made her feel disrespected. I said I'm not constantly thinking about having sex with her. I told her it's more that I really like her, and sometimes she does things that I think are sexy, but that doesn't mean I necessarily want to have sex at that moment. It's just my internal monologue going, "That was sexy." That wasn't the right way to explain it. She didn't seem to understand where I was coming from. She asked me what was going through my head when I was at the store and if I was thinking about having sex with her. I said I was thinking about the store, the items I needed to buy, inflation, etc. And then I saw the shampoo and thought about how she uses it and how it makes her hair smell amazing, so I bought it. She asked if I specifically thought about the way her hair smelled the last time we had sex, and I said yes, but it wasn't like I had a full sex fantasy in the store. It was a momentary thought. She said that isn't normal and that I might have Tourette's, ADHD, OCD, or some other condition that causes intrusive thoughts. I'm really glad I made the last post because I was worried about what she said, but then I remembered all the commenters who mentioned feeling the same way about scents. I told her I posted about our conversation in an anonymous online forum and that several people feel the same way I do about smells. I said I think it's normal to feel that way about scents, but maybe it isn't universal. She said it isn't normal and that I might want to talk to a doctor about potentially having hypersexuality. Between her not liking my living situation and her not liking that I am attracted to her smell, which is probably my fault because I wasn't doing a good job of explaining things, I realized we just weren't compatible. So I told her I thought maybe we had different needs in a relationship and might be better as friends. She said she was disappointed in me, but that she agreed. We hugged it out. I'm a little bummed, but we were only dating for 4 months. Thanks for being my normalcy barometer, since I don't have one for relationships yet. You handled that well and you both made the right call. Thank you for the update. She said that isn't normal and I might have Tourette's, or ADHD, or OCD, or some other condition that causes intrusive thoughts. Don't listen to this. Therapist here. She doesn't know what any of the abbreviations mean, or what intrusive thoughts are. I went through a period of intense depression and health anxiety, complete with constant intrusive thoughts. It was a truly horrific time in my life, and I was barely functioning. The scent of vanilla giving someone pleasant thoughts of how sexy their girlfriend is not an intrusive thought. I wish that's what my intrusive thoughts were about. Buddy, she wanted you to tank your financial situation for a relationship of 4 months? I know you like this woman, but you dodged a bullet. And liking how someone smells is perfectly normal. I think she was just communicating. She wants a partner that has their own place. It's fair for her to let me know that. That doesn't work for me right now, so we aren't compatible. That doesn't make her wrong or a bad girlfriend, just not the right girlfriend for me. And right now, I'm not the right boyfriend for her. I mean, sure, but not realizing that going from several roommates to none is going to completely change your budget is incredibly out of touch, especially if she thinks you can make rent with a part-time job and just ask your parents. You aren't compatible because she's incredibly sheltered and privileged and doesn't understand how the world works. Not to mention the weird pathologizing stuff she was doing. I'm guessing her family is a trip and a half that you will not regret missing out on. No, we aren't compatible, but I don't think that's bad. There's someone out there that lives alone that is perfect for her, and there's a social butterfly out there that will like hanging out with my roommates. Now for the last update 3 weeks later. Hi, I just want to thank you all for the feedback. I think this is the right place for second updates. You all helped me figure out a really confusing experience. I broke up with my girlfriend 3 weeks ago and have been on a few dates since then. She texted me a few hours ago asking to give us another shot. If it wasn't for all the feedback you gave me, I probably would have taken her up on the offer. Keeping in mind what she said about me, I turned her down. She said she noticed some alarming patterns in me and that she might have overreacted. I told her I understand and that it's okay, but I'm interested in continuing to date around. She said the grass isn't always greener on the other side and that we know we're compatible. I disagreed and said we aren't actually compatible because of the housing situation. She said she was willing to give me another shot and that if we worked out in 6 months to a year, we could move in together. I still said no. I definitely would have agreed before I read all your comments, so yeah, thanks again. I have a couple of dates scheduled for this weekend, a first and a second. Wish me luck. Your ex is insane, and she's not having any luck dating. I think she made you break up with her so you'd be the bad guy and she could date someone else, who then turned out not to be as good as you. Block her and move on. Yeah, that's the answer. She isn't willing to give it another shot. She's realizing she can't find much better. And she probably got hit on by a few guys that are actually hypersexual and is realizing that whatever she found on TikTok isn't actual psychology. She learned the grass isn't always greener and has come crawling back. Good move to not take her back. She was trying to make you feel weird for no reason at all. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband his coworker can't use my car? My husband's coworker has been using my car, a Prius, but I want it back now and feel like an a-hole given the situation. For context, I, 32 female, am currently 38 weeks pregnant. My husband, 35 male, has always hated how small my car is, but I have loved how great it is on gas. We have an SUV, and when I was around 12 weeks pregnant, mid-August, we decided to buy a truck so my husband would have peace of mind that the baby and I would be safe on the road regardless of which car I drove. So my Prius sat in our driveway. Anytime I wanted to use it for short errands, I'd have to call AAA because the battery would be drained. I would then need to drive it around for at least 30 minutes to charge the internal battery, so my short errand would turn into a full-on outing. Then my husband's coworker, 28 female, got into an accident around September or October. She and her boyfriend have 2 kids, so being down a car was a huge challenge for their family. She knew we had an extra car at home and asked if we'd sell it. At that time, we didn't want to, and eventually asked if she could borrow it, beginning of December. Well, my husband preemptively agreed to let her borrow it. He said it was ultimately my decision and had told his coworker that he didn't have a problem with it, but that it was my car. My husband is genuinely very kind. He goes out of his way to help friends and family and is the first to volunteer if someone needs help. It's just who he is, and I love him for that, but I can also see how he can be taken advantage of. I didn't feel 100% comfortable, but I got to thinking about the holidays and her kids, and we initially decided she could use the car through January 15th, since the insurance would need to be renewed for 6 months, and my insurance would be requesting updated photos. In early January, I had this overwhelming feeling that we were really taking on a huge liability with her using the car. I told my husband I would be open to selling it now, just so I wouldn't have to worry about it anymore. My husband asked her if she liked the car. She said she loved it and loved the gas mileage, and asked if she wanted to buy it and gave her a price. She said she'd have to check with her boyfriend. A week went by, and I asked my husband what was going on and whether they were going to buy it. He mentioned that her boyfriend wanted to take it to a mechanic and have it checked out to see if it was worth what I was asking. I told my husband that if they didn't think it was worth it, then they should return it and not continue driving it and devaluing it. My husband then told me they probably couldn't afford what we were asking for all at once, so they would need to make installment payments. I told him that put us right back in the same position, taking on additional liability for an extended period of time. I told him that, God forbid, if she got into an accident, our insurance would go up for several years. I also told him I didn't want to deal with that added stress with a newborn coming soon. I mentioned that I felt like they were taking advantage of the situation and that I really didn't feel comfortable at all. Now we're at the end of January, and I'm fed up. My car insurance renewed for another 6 months this morning, so I asked my husband again about it. He mentioned that she hasn't been able to have anyone look at the car. Mind you, she got into an accident in September or October. I told him that I really don't feel comfortable anymore, that this is beyond what we initially agreed to, and that if she's not going to buy it, then I want it back. My husband got a little snippy with me and told me he'd bring it home today and make her walk home if that's the case. I told him that's not what I wanted, but I do want a clear answer on how we're moving forward. I don't want to be an a-hole and leave her high and dry, but it's been about 2 months, and I haven't asked her to pay me anything to use the car, except the very low car insurance for the last 2 months. So, am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. If someone else has an accident while driving your car, you could be held legally responsible for any expenses beyond your insurance coverage. Your insurance may also deny any claims because those people aren't covered drivers on your policy. This is a huge financial risk. Huge. Genuinely, it's been my concern for months and has been such a source of stress and anxiety for me. We're doing this favor, but at what expense? You could be sued for anything that happens when she's driving. They could literally cost you a 5-figure settlement if they got in an accident. Can you afford that? Not to mention, if she hurts someone else, you'll be responsible as the owner. A friend told me of a coworker that this happened to. His friend had lent out the car. Big accident. Bodily injuries. The car owner had to pay out untold thousands and sell their home. It was an awful story. True, and one I never forgot. Learn from my mistakes. Get the car back now. Uber exists. This will become a problem. Guaranteed. I was almost arrested because the friend paying installments for my old car, which they never actually paid, always a money problem. I've got kids, etc. Had many unpaid parking tickets and got into an accident. Not their fault. My insurance went up. They couldn't and wouldn't pay for the unusable car anymore. And they got mad that I was stressing them out over wanting the paperwork, so I could at least take the totaled car off my insurance. Then they had the gall to ask if I'd put them on my insurance, all in less than 4 months. Oh, and to add, 6 months later, the other person involved in the accident sued my insurance and won. So now I worry I'll be screwed or dropped if I get into an accident anytime in the next 3 to 5 years. Stress level is only going up after reading this comment, but I will be reaching out about my car today. Now for the mini update. I don't know how to turn off comments, but I'm genuinely getting so overwhelmed and stressed, so I will probably delete this soon if I can't figure that out. I get it. What I agreed to is or was incredibly stupid. I have read multiple comments about worst-case scenarios, which totally validate how I'm feeling, but don't help with my stress or anxiety. As I mentioned, I am currently 38 weeks pregnant, and I am deeply worried about this. I already reached out to the coworker. We have a firm deadline. They will discuss it tonight, and if they decide not to buy it, they will return it tonight. Trust me, I will not put myself in this situation ever again.